am very delighted to be here with Jo Wise and kicking off the information session for our first Executive Leadership Program intake. Jo, I met last year. She brings a wealth of insight and experience to the leadership conversation, and she's been invaluable in helping us to design this program for women in print. Jo is a master certified coach and a behavioral advisor with a deep expertise in executive performance and leadership development. She works specifically with women who are passionate about their work and want to lead with more confidence, more clarity, and impact. Through her coaching and programs, Jo has helped women to tap into their strengths and step into leadership roles with authenticity and a sense of purpose. It is a privilege for me to have Jo as part of our community and helping us as an association to better support and grow the leadership pipeline for women in print. This executive program we are launching has been created as a direct result of our community feedback survey, in which you, our community, rated very highly the need and desire for both formal and informal learning opportunities and growth and skills development opportunities. So here we are, 18 months later, working through our first intake for the Executive Leadership Program. This is a unique program in our industry in the sense that many other leadership programs that are out there are focused on emerging talent and the pipeline of talent at the beginning of the industry or the start of people's journey through print. They're looking at things like emerging leaders or future leaders. And there might be people in the industry, but they're very much targeted at that younger and more early focus. Our program, we're looking for existing leaders. We're looking to support women who want a promotion, who want help or managing their business or growing a team. So that is the big and major difference between our program and the other leadership programs on the outset of it. I'll also tell you, in complete and blunt honesty, I cannot comment on the content of our program compared to other programs because I have no idea what's in them. But I can tell you that we do target a different market. That's it. Before I hand over to Jo, I'm going to cover off a little bit of housekeeping. We are recording the session, as you know. I'm going to ask you to keep your questions to the end so we can stop recording. And if you can't remember the questions or you want to hold on to them or you can't, wait, pop them into the chat and we'll address them at the end. Other than that, any question is on the table. Feel free to pop it through or ask us at the end. And we'll run through everything there. So I'm going to hand over to Jo and she'll take us through the program that we have designed for you. Thank you. Jo, over to you.
Thanks, Steph. Thanks so much. It's so wonderful to be here with you all. As Steph gave my intro, which is, I always think is super weird listening to somebody introduce you, but Steph, thanks for doing a great job. I was having a conversation last week with a bunch of female leaders, like sort of that mid to high level leaders. And one of the things that I brought up was a question to them was, have you ever been in a room where, like, it could be a boardroom, a client meeting, leadership team, even an industry event, where you didn't feel that you quite fit in, where you maybe felt that you led differently or you thought differently or you see things differently? Like, does that resonate with anyone here? I can already see a few of the nods happening anyway. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I love to be having conversations about with the people that I'm working with, because quite often when we're in different industries, and I work a lot across a lot of industries, there is, when people finally come to me, whether it's in a training or coaching, I quite often think that they're doing something wrong or that they're the one that's doing something wrong. That sort of is the foundation of a lot of the conversations that I'm having, is you're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, you're probably very exceptional at what you're doing. And I see my job is to help you bring a lot of that out. So a lot of the stuff from inside out, so that you're able to be speaking up more in a way that you're heard, and also in a way that feels real for you. Hashtag authenticity, that everyone's talking about authenticity at the moment. Yeah. So if any of that resonates, that's sort of, as I said, one of the messages and one of the philosophies, I guess, that sits behind a lot of the things that I do. So to give you a little bit about me, I've been working in or helping professional women like you lead boldly, lead unapologetically, in lots of industries for about the last 15 years. And before that, I worked with American Express for about 10 years, actually in leadership positions and also some training positions earlier than that as well. So I've been, I had a very broad professional career with lots of different things, but also have a full life. I'm a surfer, I'm an ocean swimmer, I'm a veggie gardener, I'm a chicken mama, very proud chicken mama, and also a girlfriend, and I'm also the mother of a human. I'm a mama to a human as well, which is also cool. But probably like you, I live full, meaningful life where I like to create a really strong impact with the things that I do and have many, many things that are super, super important to me in the way that I'm turning up. So with all of the work I do, it's very much around being real, creating the impact, but also doing it in a sustainable way where we don't feel like we have to burn out, where we have to be exhausted all of the time. That's a lot that sits under the work that I do. Because I don't know about you, I'm seeing loads of burnout at the moment, and it just doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Yeah. For some of the industries that I've mentioned, I've worked across a lot of industries. I do work along, through my coaching programs and through my leadership training programs, government organizations, finance, tech, manufacturing, non-for-profits, companies I've worked in coaching programs and delivering trainings, businesses, like a whole range of businesses, including, CSL, National Australia Bank, Bupa, Department of Transport, WA, Department of Transport, Melbourne, Victoria, Maya Foundation, and the list goes on, of course. And for those people that are interested in credentials, I quite often don't mention my credentials, but it is actually important for some people. So just let you know a little bit around, I'm credentialed in executive coaching, in neuroscience, leadership and development, behavioral science, emotional intelligence, performance, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, the art and science of excellence and communication. And I'm also a MCC and Master Certified Coach with the ICF, the International Coach Federation. And that's all just for me, that's just a whole bunch of words of things that I've done, because I think it's fabulous to keep that. I want to keep learning, I want to keep growing. And the industries, leadership industry moves so quickly. We have, new sort of new courses and new trainings and new initiatives coming through all the time. So I like to keep my finger on the pulse, but only with the stuff that actually works. Because when it comes down to it, I think there's a lot of stuff that comes into our realm all the time about, all this new fancy stuff. But ultimately, for me, the only stuff I'm interested in sharing with the people that I work with is stuff that is practical, that you can actually use on the ground in the conversations that you're having with your people right off the bat. And that's a lot of the feedback that I get from my coaching and training programs is, this is stuff that I can use. When I, we feel like the testimonial forms at the end of the workshops, every single time it is, I can actually implement this straight away. I can be using this stuff. And so, as you can imagine, when I'm delivering the training programs, there's going to be theory in there, but it's not all theory-based stuff. It is all super practical that you can use, that you can on the ground running straight away, that you will, and probably even within the 2-day program, checking emails during lunch, if that's what you want to do. I've had people say before, I actually started to change the way that I was having the conversation, even just in responding to those emails. So super practical things that you can use every single day, real, and also, as I said, sustainable approaches that are not going to burn you out, that are going to help you take that step back and look internally around, what is it that we can do to bring the you part of it out as much as we can, the Janetness, the Zadiness, the Carriness, the Nicoleness, the Isabonness, that bring that out even more in a way so that it feels, as I said, more sustainable. It gives you more energy. You're using your strengths even more. And that stuff feels so much better than, sometimes the way that we've been leading in the past. To go through a bit of the sort of practical things that we're going to be learning, the day one we've kind of created with Women in Print around, you your leadership identity, who you are as a leader, and how we can bring the best of that out, as I just mentioned. So we sort of get started by looking at you as a leader beyond the title of leader, helping you uncover what's important to you about leadership, help you define your brand in leadership. And sometimes for the level that you're at, that might be redefining your brand, because you've been in industry for a while. Then sometimes if when we're stepping up to those higher level positions, about recognizing that my brand needs to be up leveled, it needs to be tweaked, it needs to be upgraded so that I can be, be more powerful and impactful where I am, but also ready for that next level, whatever that is for you. Also looking at, your presence as a leader, your purpose, what's really getting you out of bed every single morning, as a leader. And then, we'll look at leadership styles as well. And then the second day, we move a bit more to the performance of a leader, of how we can improve the performance of yourself, but also your team. And as I said, sort of exploring the way we can have even more real conversations, feedback, tough conversations, conflict, all of the nitty-gritty stuff that, we really need to have skills at, because, I know myself as a leader, led for many, many years, and the people that I'm working with every single day, there's always things that we can do to improve, because there's so many tricky scenarios that are coming up in leadership regularly. So that kind of gives you a bit of an overview about me, a bit of an overview about the program.
So I'll just pop in with some practical stuff around the 2 days and what's included in the course cost, and then I'll cover off the cost. We'll stop recording and then we'll take some questions. So what's included in the program is the 2 full days with Jo, as she's just broadly explained through the program. There'll be a small cohort, maximum 20 ladies in the room. So it's very focused, very, sort of working together in a nice, intimate environment. Morning, afternoon tea and a catered lunch on both days. And included in the program is the leadership dinner, which takes place on the Monday night, the 11th. So for the leadership dinner, you are all invited to the dinner. The tickets are covered. You are also given a free +1 ticket for a colleague of yours, maybe your direct manager. If you are a business owner, that might be, a partner or somebody else in the industry that's a colleague. We do ask you to keep it kind of work related, rather than, necessarily bringing along a boyfriend or a girlfriend or, something like that. But of course, having said all of that, if you are a small business owner and you want to bring along your partner, bring them. Absolutely. The dinner for you and your partner is included in the program price. Okay. So the program cost total is, for non-members, $2,495. Members will get a discount. Paid members get a discount down to $1,995. And we have available payment plans. So we can take weekly payments, we can take fortnightly payments. If you have another kind of cash flow thing and you want to talk to me, ping me for a confidential offsite chat and we'll have a chat about what your situation is. Anyone who pays in full and takes the full program and pays before the 15th of July will get a discount off that price of 10%. Okay. And if there's a company that wants to send more than 3 people, we have discounts available for groups. So come and talk to me as well about those, and we'll talk through those options. So that's how it works. Those are the payment plans. And yeah, I'm going to stop the recording now and we'll take questions, and both Jo and myself available to answer your questions.